So there's this guy by the name of Sean Fain. He's the head of I believe it's the UAW union, the Auto Workers Union. And, he just got this position of power. And he got this position of power because he's aggressive and because he is actually making demands in a way that previous union leadership did not. Previous union leadership was weak, probably corrupted, so they weren't fighting for the workers and representing the workers as much as they should have. Well, Sean Fain comes along and he goes, I'm going to change that, okay? So on CNBC, which is the network of the plutocrats and the oligarchs, it is every Wall Street prick in the country watches CNBC and jerks off, right? Like, this is that network. Well, Jim Cramer is going to absolutely whine and cry and moan because, God forbid, a union leader does union leader stuff and tries to take care of the workers. So you guys are going to love this. You're going to get a kick out of this. Let's listen.
I want you to compare the labor negotiations here to the ones in auto, where I think there's going to be a strike, and I think it's going to be horrible.
You're making that call
September
today?
14, I think they're going to strike. Sean Fain, the guy who runs the UAW, I find him frightening.
And Teamsters UPS didn't give you any solace?
Teamsters turned out to be get a good deal. Teamsters historically very powerful union, rich union. But the UAW leader won. There was a very contested vote between the company, the union that wants to work with the autos together to try to preserve some jobs and give the elder people a good pay, and then this man, Sean, who is just talking about capitalism and the nature of capitalism and how it's really hurt workers. This is very Walter Reuther language. It's the kind of language that when we had in this country, we'll take you down if you don't play ball. That's the language I'm hearing from UAW. Yep. And look, I mean, it's the kind of language where you just say, you know what, we should have built all our EVs in Mexico. It's that bad.
So he doesn't want made in America jobs because, God forbid, a union leader represents the workers and is aggressive about it. That says a lot about Jim Cramer and the people who watch him. They don't care about this country. They don't care about the workers. They would rather not deal with the headache and just outsource the jobs.
The man is, I'm not saying he's irrational. I'm saying he was elected in order to make it so that there's a very short week, defined benefit back, and then the notion that we're fat cats. The shareholders are fat cats and have been overly rewarded. We haven't seen this. He's class warfare. And it's very shocking to hear class warfare.
I remember.
Here's the thought, Jim Cramer. There's already class warfare going on in this country, and it's waged by the very wealthy on regular people. There is class warfare, and it's working in one direction. So now, when the workers fight back even a little bit, in the context of a union negotiation, you go, oh, uncle, this has gone too far. This has gone too far. Unbelievable.
Cramer a while ago who lamented the shift from capital to labor. I'm sorry, from labor to capital over the last 30 years.
Well, I always felt that the middle class benefited from unions. I've been a union member, twice union member, and I always felt that you could work together and everybody would do well. I never felt that we had to destroy the people that we were fighting. I helped.
I love unions. I like unions, but just not like this. Not like this. Don't actually make demands. I like the unions who are good little cuck boys and servants to management and to the board and to the owners. That's what I like. Oh, God, you're so sad, Jim Cramer. So look, why is he flipping out? Why is he flipping out? Well, it's very simple. The demands made by Sean Fain. So last year, or in recent years, there's been a 40% increase in executive pay. So Sean Fain looks at that and he goes, you know what? 40% increase for the workers. That's one of our demands. 40% increase for the workers. Now, he didn't make that number up. He didn't pull it out of his ass. He looked at what's going on with the executives. So he's like, okay, yeah, Duke played that game. 40% increase for the workers. This is one of their first demands. Another demand, you guys are going to love this, 4-day work week. This is one of, honestly, very few unions that hasn't come out and endorsed Joe Biden. Why? Because they wanted, as part of the Inflation Reduction Act, there's all these like made in America green jobs. And the unions wanted Joe Biden to say, made in America green jobs and also union jobs. But he didn't say union jobs. So this guy looks at that and goes, well, you're sort of stabbing unions in the back, so we're not going to come out and endorse you right now. Again, pretty based. The more I read about this guy, the more based he seems. So we also have, now Kramer went on to say, one of their demands is getting rid of the tiered payment system. They want the workers to make the same. And he looks at that and he goes, communism! This is communism! This man studied Trotsky! And he's melting down over it. There's a good tweet from More Perfect Union. Here's what Kramer didn't say. The big three car makers have made $250 billion in North American profits the past 10 years, while the majority of auto workers are now lower tier with no retirement, healthcare, and lower wages. CEO pay is up 40% in the last 4 years. Auto workers' wages are up 6%. This is what this guy's doing. He's saying, you guys got to raise it 40%. The workers demand a raise of 40%. We also want a 4-day work week. We also want to get rid of the tiered system. And he's got, other demands as well that are intelligent and reasonable. Now, ultimately, is he going to win on every single point? No. But guys, this is how politics and economics is played. This is how you collectively bargain. You start with a maximalist position, and then you work it out from there. And when you have labor organized, you actually can try to force management to the table to get a better deal. Why? Because if labor's organized, you guys effectively have a lot of the power. It helps to balance out the imbalance, the natural imbalance in power within a capitalist system and a capitalist company. Because the way it works is it's a little tyranny. It's a little dictatorship. That's the way a company works. You have the owner at the top, then you have an executive under that, and then you have workers under that, and there's this rigid hierarchy, and one person controls everything. They provide the capital. Basically, the people who work for them are more like property than they are like humans. And so organizing the workers, collectively bargaining, is a way to try to bring more balance to that equation. And this guy's great. I mean, he's making smart demands. They're based on something real and tangible. He's going to drive a hard bargain, but ultimately it's going to end up helping the workers out. And if all you can do about it is default to, I don't know, Trotsky, Marx, Lenin, communism, he's calling us fat cats, he's questioning capitalism, well, then you don't have an argument. You don't actually have an argument. You just have like little naughty sounding buzzwords that you lean on to say, isn't he bad? Trotsky, bro. Trotsky. Okay, but why don't we actually, and that's what you need to notice. He doesn't actually bring up the provisions that this guy's asking for. He doesn't bring up their demands. Why doesn't he do that? Because your average person could hear that and go, actually, I think that's kind of fair. Executive pay went up 40%. Why can't the worker pay go up 40%? Or why can't that, at the very least, be a starting position in a negotiation? So, cry some more. Based Sean Fain, sad Jim Cramer. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.